Magna Carta is one of the most important documents in our country's history, and in fact is probably one of the most well-known documents in the world. It was really a peace treaty between the king on the one side and the barons on the other side. There have been a lot of disputes between both sides since the king had come to the throne in 1199, and this was the culmination of a lot of period of almost civil war between the two parties.
King John unfortunately lost quite a lot of the land in Normandy during the conquest, and he was unable to compensate to get that land back. So he taxed the people and the barons very heavily. And King John was a bit of a rogue, breaking a lot of promises to the barons, who then in turn broke a lot of promises to King John.
The city of London was the real powerhouse of the country. The merchants, the money, the River Thames, the great artery of trade with the continent. And the king had recently moved his capital to Westminster, so it was within reach of London. Everything happened in London. The king badly needed them on his side. Whoever had London really had the country.
One of the barons was the then Mayor of London, as he was called. The title Lord Mayor came later. And therefore the mayor himself and the City of London that he represented was central to the whole process.
And on the 9th of May 1215, from here in the Temple, his London headquarters, the king issued the London Mayoral Charter.
John actually agreed to allow the city to elect its own Lord Mayor. This was his way of trying to get the City of London on his side. But unfortunately, within a week, the barons had taken control of the city, and so the city never became part of John's sort of party, if you like. And the country was almost in a state of civil war until both parties agreed to meet at Runnymede on the 15th of June. And that's when we get to almost the most famous date in this country's history, when Magna Carta was first sealed and issued.
Fundamentally, the Magna Carta is the source of the idea of a restriction on the rights of the head of state, the crown, the monarch, whoever it might be, to run things as they want. And related to that, more generally, the rule of law. And of course, the rule of law, the idea that law decides things, is central to the way that the United Kingdom runs and many other countries, but also central to a successful commercial and business centre.
Two clauses in Magna Carta that have most resonance today, and the ones that are most quoted and most important around the world, are what is known as the Golden Passage. And those two clauses really summarise what Magna Carta is about. It's about the rule of law. It's saying that no man shall be deprived of his possessions or his liberty unless it be by the judgment of his peers or by the law of the land. And to no man shall be justice denied or delayed. London, of all places in the country, has its own clause about its own ancient liberties and customs, which were confirmed by Magna Carta. No other place in the country has that kind of clause for it.
King John found his power diminished by the 1215 Charter, and he sought an annulment. However, the Magna Carta lived on. Under Henry's reign, the 1225 Charter was reissued, and in 1297, King Edward I enrolled the statute of the Great Charter, and it is the 1297 version that we have here in the Heritage Gallery.
We wanted to mark the start of the 800th anniversary year by showing that to the people of London in the traditional Lord Mayor's show. So it was actually, you could say, that Magna Carta took part in the show.
I was very proud that we were able to make sure that Magna Carta could be seen and could be known to be seen by as many people as possible, and that those links that take you back 800 years to the granting of the Mayoral Charter, creation of Magna Carta in the first place, it was a real way in which history came alive. What I can say is that Magna Carta in 2015 is going to be on display throughout the summer. So it's going to be on display from the beginning of June right through to September.
2015 is going to be a fantastic year to celebrate 800 years of the Magna Carta, culminating in a joint effort with the Guildhall School of Music and Drama to put on a Sonne Lumiere concert in the Guildhall Yard. Using 3D mapping image technology, we're going to create a soundscape and the story of Magna Carta on the architecture of the buildings, bringing to life the story before your very eyes and culminating in a truly atmospheric experience.